Is therapy. The music is a confession. The music is a memory. Every performance feels like another page from Lestat's diary, even when he's yelling and he's grieving, which it literally is. I feel like Big Boss was about Armand. He made the other song about his mom. He like, I need a mean mom. Black Licorice was about sucking Louis's dick. Damn, Lestat really did love her. Or like, Louis, you gotta let her go, baby. The music is a chef's kiss. Is when they show Claudia burning. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Vampire Lestat conversation where we're talking about episode 5, but this will include elements from episode 4 and episode 5, okay? Episode 5 completely changed how I looked at the Vampire Lestat. Up until now, I kept comparing it to the books, chapter for chapter, wondering why certain reveals were happening so early. Then it clicked. The show isn't just adapting one Anne Rice novel at one time. It's adapting the entire Vampire Chronicles as one continuous story. Once I realized that, almost every creative decision started making sense. Even if I don't agree with every single one, let's talk about episode 5. So basically, how I came up with this theory was I was scrolling on Instagram, and I had seen this creator finally say, because in this, it's about to be spoilers, y'all. So in this episode, we talked about we met the queen of the vampires, Akasha, and which the only queen I really know was, because I only got up to the part where we're on the fact of Armand's infatuation with Lestat and Armand are basically like calling out to each other, where Armand had ended up trying to learn all this information, and he ended up in Nicholas de la Font's a flat that they were calling it, and he was trying to learn all the information, and basically Armand told Lestat that, hey, just come out and seek me when you're ready, because honestly we belong together, all that kind of stuff. But that kind of explains the fling that the TV show kind of grazed over between Armand and Lestat. But don't worry, because I'm still reading, I'm still listening to the audiobook. So, yeah, basically the girl was saying that Akasha is like the beginning vampire. I even seen another Instagram reel where they said the person that Akasha kept calling out was a male. A male was the first person or first entity, a thing, a being. It's like a mindset or whatnot that traveled into Akasha's body that made her the first vampire, and they all somehow shared the same mind, and Lestat shared the same mind in some way. But let's go ahead and get into episode 5. I just wanted to break that down a little bit about some of the things that Akasha was screaming, during her monologue of when Lestat, awoken her by mistake. Episode 5 takes place in New York. It slows the pace just enough to let the emotional weight catch up to Lestat. While the band continues to record the album, Lestat is chasing more than one perfect sound. He's trying to capture who he really is after the centuries of trauma and loss. And can we talk about the stain? What is it called? Stained glass eyes. That emotional moment was so powerful, and you can hear the pain inside of Lestat's voice or Sam Reed's voice, like while he's singing, and just the whole imagery. And then when they show Claudia burning, like, because we didn't really get that whole perspective. They kind of skipped around, Claudia burning or whatnot. But then when they showed it during that piano scene, and then she was touching the thing and the ashes was just falling, like, that shit was just so sad. One thing I continue loving about this adaptation is that the music isn't just an aesthetic. The music is therapy. The music is a confession. The music is a memory. Every performance feels like another page from Lestat's diary, even when he's yelling and he's grieving, which it literally is. I feel like Big Boss was about Armand. He made the other song about his mom. He like, I need a mean mom. Black Licorice was about sucking Louis's dick. Okay, so I just feel like the music is a chef's kiss. Is right on point with not only providing context to true feelings that Lestat had in the world around him in order to bring this great conversion, to fruition that his mom wants, to make more vampires than, That's why in this episode they kept saying, make more, make more, make more. And even down into the conversation when Lestat first found the first coven, the demonic coven, where, they wanted them to keep making more vampires. So, meanwhile, what's going on in this episode with Louis, Daniel, and Armand? Let's just get on Louis first, because Louis made me so uncomfortable when he's sitting down at this table with the fake Claudia Regina, and then you got this other girl come down here with this badass wig on, and they're having a conversation, and it's just so yucky. Like, you're paying these people to be like a fake version of something for you, and this people, I'm pretty sure it's shit like that happens in real life, where people are playing like a certain role, and people will pay them to do that. Like, there's certain kinks and stuff where people will pay you to do certain roles to get their rocks off, and I just feel like, Louis, you gotta let her go, baby. And then inviting Lestat in. Lestat has said, I almost died, right? They shot me down, and you didn't even call me, but you called me over here to make sure that our daughter isn't real inside this damn brick and bacon and bacon and brick. So Lestat, and this kind of broke my heart too, Lestat, when I didn't see the way that they portrayed Lestat in the interview with the vampire is kind of like so nonchalant that it didn't really seem like Claudia's death affected him. So bringing it back up in episode 5 was really a refreshing moment, because it's like, damn, Lestat really did love her, or like, damn, Daniel really didn't capture everything that Louis said, or damn, Louis wasn't this facetious, in the book as we seen. This was what we seen, or what we heard, was also Daniel's interpretation of Louis' interview. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't technically verbatim what Louis was telling him. It was, okay, Louis is giving me information, Armand's giving me somewhat information, and I'm interpreting it, I'm writing it down, and I'm going to publish this book. So some of the things that he was saying could have been salacious and untrue, about characters, especially about, Lestat pointing out the specific things about him not having cuts or wounds on his chest, that wasn't allowed in the book. So Lestat being affected by Claudia's death was definitely an eye-opener for me. But ongoing, these three continue proving, meaning Louis, Daniel, Armand, these three continue proving that they're some of the best written characters on television. Louis is still wrestling with the guilt and unresolved grief. Daniel is asking every question the audience is thinking, and Armand is still impossible to completely trust. And you seen how Armand he's slowly crossing the line. Armand said, look, bitches, I came over here to apologize to you. I came over here to apologize to you. I came over here to apologize to you, and all y'all treat me like shit, and y'all not trying to accept my apology. Watch me fuck y'all up one by one. You must forgot who came up here and destroyed his coven by himself. You must forgot who was burning bitches by himself and destroyed his own coven. You got Armand fucked up in here. 1 minute Armand feels honest, the next minute you're wondering if he's manipulating everyone in the room. That's why Daniel has become one of my favorite characters, because he refuses to accept easy answers. He keeps digging, and usually he finds something. So I can't wait till Daniel probes Lestat's mind again, because this is going to be mind-boggling. And I know that Daniel can't and Armand technically can't probe each other's mind, because Armand is Daniel's maker. But Armand said, oh, you think I'm so useless, bitch? Can you walk in the sun? Let me teach you how to walk in the sun. And I want to see if Armand can walk in the sun too, because that would be a cool ass power. And we seen Lestat run and try to record. That scene kind of confused me a little bit when Lestat kept running into the sun to record, I guess, the screaming or whatever. But Claudia's death, what I failed to mention is Claudia's death made him want to transition his whole album to make it say something else. And that's what made me think, like, oh, when they said the failures had like 45 tapes or something like that, that's why the failures end up being so long, because him reliving these moments through this musical career, he's gone through so many transitions in his life and memories that he's really still trying to figure out, who the fuck am I and what have I done in these centuries on earth since Magnus turned me. Now let's talk about the most beautiful reveal. Let's talk about Akasha. Introducing Akasha completely changes the scale of the story and begins connecting Lestat to the oldest history of vampires. The episode also introduces Marius, a key figure in Lestat's past, as the guardian of the ancient pair, being, was it Ankar and Akasha? The cinematography, the dialogue, the atmosphere, it genuinely felt ancient, almost biblical, like when them being down there in the, I don't know, I just call it a basement for a lack of better locations or surroundings. I just thought it was very crazy, like all those artifacts down there, you know, the isolation. It just felt the set design was on point. It was on 10. So here's one of the biggest takeaways that I had, my eye. Here's one of the biggest takeaways that I had from episode 5. The show isn't waiting 3 or 4 seasons to explain everything. The books often reveal information years later. The television show does not. Instead, they're layering storylines together, characters who originally became important much later, okay? Because I'm still on Armand, the old queen, and Lestat. But characters who originally become important much later are already influencing the narrative now. Some fans love that. Some fans hate it. Personally, I understand why AMC is doing it because they want to use the budget and use their time well. If you waited 6 seasons to introduce certain mythology, you might never get there. Euphoria. Now, definitely some uncomfortable moments inside this show. You know, I already talked about the one between Claudia and her wife, Regina, and this other fake chick. It's definitely, you know, about family trauma, power dynamics, manipulation, obsession, and love that becomes toxic. And just how Lestat told Regina that she needs to leave Louis alone, I definitely think so too, because she's driving him crazy. And the fact that Louis used his powers on Regina when they was in that boat scene paddling, and he kind of like gave her fuzzy memory or whatever, that was actually atrocious. And nobody is completely innocent because they all getting some out of it. Regina getting money, and Louis getting somewhat closure. Now, episode 5 might be my favorite of the season, not because it has the biggest action in it, but because it explained the direction of the series. I understand the adaptation now and where it's trying to go, and therefore that it's not going to be chapter by chapter, playbook by playbook, but it's all happening at one time, right? I understand why certain reveals are happening, and honestly, I'm more excited for the second half of the season than ever. So I just have a couple questions for you all, you know, before I jet out of here, because honestly, watching this show, you need to watch it like 2-3 times between like what's actually going on in the scene, what Lestat is narrating, and what's actually going on in the scene. You get what I'm saying? Because you got like Lestat narrating, then you got the stuff that's going on in the scene, then you got the music. It's a lot to encompass at one time in an hour. So, do you like the shows combining multiple Anne Rice books into one ongoing story? Or would y'all like it, you know, play by play, chapter by chapter, you know, for us to do that? Do you think that they need a bigger budget so we can have multiple seasons of this one show? Or do you think that, unlike Euphoria, waiting 6 years for each season, they should be they can be rolling out seasons every year, you know, but then there would be a lot. I don't know, because shows like Grey's Anatomy and all that are out, right? But that would be a lot of work on the actors, right? I don't know. They're doing One Piece like that. One Piece just finished filming season 3. So I guess they could film back to back. Did Akasha steal the episode? I know I see a lot of people on Twitter. I see a lot of people on Instagram and all over, fans of the Vampire Lestat in the interview with the vampire, loving Akasha's performance. Can Armand be trusted? Okay. Now, some people already didn't spoil, you know, what happens to Daniel, Armand, and multiple characters. But whatever. And after episode 5, who you think is the most dangerous vampire on the show? Do you think it's Armand? Do you think it's Louis? Do you think it's Lestat? Like, who do you think is the most dangerous vampire in the show? Or do you think it's Gabriella? Make sure you show your love and your support for these Vampire Lestat reviews, you know, by liking this video, hyping this video, share this video with your mom and dad, your uncle, your auntie, subscribing. Okay, drop your thoughts below. If you're enjoying these weekly Vampire Lestat reviews, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in episode 6. Make sure you share this video with your mom and dad, your uncle, auntie. Make sure to leave a purple heart in the comments over here, because over here we show love. Okay, I release a music review, movie review, or reaction every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So make sure you had a notification bell turned on so you can be notified every time that I post a video. And yeah, that's all I have for now. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.